Hello everyone, Daniel here and welcome to another video. Today we are going to compare the two main vocalists for Suicide Silence, Mitch Lucker and Eddie Hermida, and we are going to compare their techniques and how well they use their extreme vocals. Suicide Silence had two lead vocalists, three if you count lead vocalist Tanner Womack as the very first singer for the band. However, he left the band after their very first show, from what I read. The two main vocalists worth talking about now is Mitch Lucker and Eddie Hermida. We are going to compare them by looking at some of Suicide Silence recordings from both of them, seeing their songs performed by them live. But first, follow me on Instagram because I post regularly tips, practices and exercises on how to improve your extreme vocals, and I also post short tutorials and guides. So back to the video. Suicide Silence is a deathcore band that was formed in 2002, but they became famous when they released their first full-length album, The Cleansing. The Cleansing is a very influential album in the deathcore genre. It also featured some very brutal vocals from their vocalist Mitch Lucker. The vocals were a mixture of some really deep death growls that were used in death metal and some really high shrieks and screams that was used in black metal by that standard in that time. In 2012, Mitch Lucker tragically died in a motorcycle accident. The rest of the band did a memorial show where, amongst many other vocalists, Eddie Hermida also played a song with them. And many other vocalists of the metal scene joined them on the stage, showing their respects and farewells to Mitch. After that, Eddie Hermida, previously the vocalist for All Shall Perish, joined the band, and he's still the vocalist for Suicide Silence to this day. Now let's get into the techniques and the comparison itself. First, let's check out Mitch Lucker's vocals. We are going to compare a song called You Only Live Once, one of their most famous songs. When Eddie Hermida joined and released a segment of that song re-recorded with his vocals. So we have two parts of the exact same song recorded by both of their vocalists, and we are going to be able to compare the exact same parts of the exact same two songs. So here's Mitch vocals first. So the internet did not agree on this as a whole. In what kind of technique did Mitch use? I'm going to give my idea. I think for the lows he mainly used false chord guttural rolls and deep false chord vocals. For highs he used a sort of a mixture between fry and false chord, but to be honest I mainly hear false chord vocals in his technique. I hear a lot of dirt and I hear a lot of air coming out, and because of that I think that he mostly used false chord, even if his highs are incredibly high and are really powerful. The highs are ridiculously high, even to this standard. By the way, just because if you hear a high scream, it doesn't necessarily mean it's fry. Many people mix those up, and actually if you listen very closely you can differentiate false chord highs and fry scream highs very easily. There are a lot of differences between them, mainly the dirt and the power that comes with the air and the sound. Fourth chord highs sort of have like a bass in them. Regardless of what techniques he used, my point is going to be the same. Mitch Lucker was a very instinctive vocalist, and he did not learn this. He did not learn this from a vocal teacher, or at least I didn't heard about him learning from from a vocal coach. Because of that, his voice and vocals are extremely raw and extremely fucking awesome and powerful at the same time. You can definitely hear power in his voice. There is something I noticed over the years. First albums from band like Suicide Silence, The Cleansing, Slipknot's first album, Bring Me the Horizon, Suicide Season, maybe the first Bullet for My Valentine album, The Poison, has some really good, powerful vocals and raw vocals, which are really good. And these are actually really successful albums, and they are many times mainly successful because of the vocals. However, we regularly bring them up as bad examples of how to use the extreme vocal techniques. Nowadays, it's almost a requirement that the vocalists have some good techniques on using harsh vocals, and it's good, it's a fair point, but because of that, I think we sort of don't get any more albums like these albums that I mentioned before. It's not a rule, but it's just something that I noticed over the years. Now look at Eddie Hermida's segment. Eddie Hermida is quite a versatile vocalist. He has some incredible highs and very deep lows. He's done some videos with Melissa Cross and talked a lot about vocal styles, so he is much more informed about the techniques himself, and that shows a lot. He is mainly a fry screamer, but can use both fourth chord and even hybrid screams, which is a mixture between fourth chord and fry screams. But he's mostly a fry screamer from what I can hear. So rather than being an instinctive vocalist like Mitch Lucker, he is much more technical. He's more educated about the vocals, and he can control his vocals much more powerfully and effectively. Personally, hearing this song, I like Mitch Lucker's highs much more, but I like Eddie Hermida's deep gutturals much more. Especially at this part where the break comes in. For the first time. I found 2 live performances of You Only Live Once. One of them is a live recording from 2011, before Mitch Lucker passed away, and the other is when Eddie Hermida joined the band. Let's check both of them out. First, Mitch Lucker's performance. Okay, right at the bat, I have to say that I really miss Mitch Lucker's charisma and characteristic from his live performance. He has such a great charisma, and you could absolutely feel that present when you were at the show. Now, that's not to say Eddie doesn't have characteristics or doesn't have charisma. I just say I really liked Mitch's performance when he was doing live shows. Look at this segment first. As you can hear, Mitch mainly uses his high false chord vocals on this song. Now let's look at Eddie Hermida's. You can hear that he switches more often between his high fries, shrieking fries, and his mid-fry screams. More versatile. Let's look at the break part with Mitch's vocals first. He only uses deep vocals in 1 or 2 lines, and yes, I looked at other songs and he generally only did shorter deep growls in shorter periods of time. Still sounds good, but he did it in shorter periods of time. Here's Eddie. His vocals is definitely more controlled. Just listen to this again. Awesome. Also, he uses a technique more often in other songs as well, like No Pity for a Coward or Bludgeoned to Death. Because he does fry mainly, Eddie Hermida's vocals are much more articulate. And that's one of the traits of fry scream, is that you can enunciate and you can articulate words more in a more controlled way. That way you can bring in more melody to the vocals itself. The downside is that it may sound a bit more thinner, the vocals, but on the other hand, you can get that articulation very well and you can make the vocals much more understandable. In conclusion, this was a comparison. It is not to say which of these vocalists are the better, but personally, I think Eddie Hermida is much more technical and much more professional when it comes to his vocals, but I really miss the charisma and characteristic of Mitch Lucker's vocals. But he's the only one that could Shabba Dabba really well. R.I.P. Mitch Lucker. Even though Eddie Hermida is more technical, Mitch was very well aware that he had to become always a better vocalist and had to train himself. So if he would have stayed with us, he probably would have released some really fucking awesome songs and vocals on later albums. Personally, I think Eddie Hermida is a great vocalist for Suicide Silence and a great choice for following up Mitch Lucker's legacy. Of course, we all know the best vocal performance of a Suicide Silence song. No, actually, I'm talking about this one. Fucking awesome. That is for today, and if you are interested in learning extreme vocals, then check out my online extreme vocal course. And if you want some private lessons, then check out my website. And as always, subscribe to my channel. More contents are coming and I want to do more of these comparison videos. But what do you think? Which of these vocalists were better, or what do you think of their techniques? Let me know in the comments, and till then, take care. Metal!